Wonderful to be here. Thank you very much for all coming around. For those of you who are just joining us, we're talking today about the science of fun, and this is 4 ways. We actually have a bonus way of how games can make us happier and how we can use that in our lives to achieve our dreams. A little bit about me. I've run Zio Design for the past 22 years, so I'm a game consultant. I make games more fun. And we've done work with all of the major publishers in the casual space, core space, and including outside of games. Most notably, I think, for the people in this room, we've worked a lot with. We did a lot of work with Play First on the Diner Dash series. We've also worked on The Sims, Myst, and as well as CSI, and of course, we've also done some consulting for the White House. About 10 years ago, I released a model called the 4 Keys to Fun. And this model is really interesting in that it basically captures the way in which games create engagement. So what is it about games that really pulls people in? What is it about games that moves you through the experience? We've used that model to create our own game, which is an iOS game on the iPhone, and it actually plants trees in Madagascar. So we've applied these techniques to help our clients make their games more fun, and we've also have our players of our game Tilt World. They've actually planted 16,000 real trees on the island of Madagascar to slow global warming. And all in all, we did some math again, and now we're up to almost 1 billion players served in the various games that we've consulted over the past 22 years. So we're really proud about that. So for today, we're going to do a talk about having fun and how we can game our lives. There's also so everyone should have a little card on their chair, and I'd like you to use that card to follow along. It'll help you take some notes. If you want to do that, participate, we're going to run a little raffle at the end of the talk. So if you tweet your dream with the tag, with the conference tag, as well as at Nicole Lazzaro, my name, we will put your name to win a prize. This is a delicious chocolate bar from a local store near our studio, and we have a Tilt World T-shirt, so you can have a little nice Tilt World T-shirt to take home with you. All right, and then we'll talk a little bit about why we're doing this raffle as at the end. So everybody in this room has a dream. Okay, everybody has done something that they really, really want to do. They have it, and you have it in your mind. Now it might be a dream that you want to do at work, or it might be just a personal dream. So take a moment here, and I'd like you just in that space just to write it down. All right, and everybody has a dream in this room, and then also I would say I would wager that everyone has also experienced disappointment, and unfortunately, sometimes our disappointments can get in the way of our dreams. So this is about the science of fun and how does that system work? We're going to go into it. Well, the first thing we're going to look at is, of course, disappointment. And what happens is that when we experience disappointment, we actually learn things that get in the way of our dreams. Sometimes the thing that's holding us back, whether it's you in your personal life, at work, or maybe even some of your players. And one of the neurochemicals responsible for this is cortisol. And when cortisol increases, your survival is threatened. It creates this feeling of seeking. The world cannot meet your needs. And cortisol drives us as human beings to explore and look at the world, look for new ways to satisfy, new ways of accomplishing what it is that we want to do. These negative feelings create the desire to make new ways to meet your needs, and sometimes they're associated with unrealistic expectation. So we're going to talk about 3 happiness problems to get us kicked off. The first one here is happiness problem number 1. And sometimes, unfortunately, stuff that is good for us, like would really help us out, feels bad. Okay, you really want to write that American novel. You really want to go indie. You really want to make that game. You really want to, go and get that MBA. But it feels bad. And then in the upper left, sometimes what's really bad for us feels good, like the slice of chocolate cake I'm going to have after this talk. And if you do these things in these 2 quadrants over and over again, we learn habits. to around them to feel good, but actually go in the way that away from our goals, or feel bad and not accomplish, not get our goals started. The second problem with happiness is that emotions are fleeting. So when we feel good, it fades. So it's like, wow, that is amazing, and then it's gone. I did great on this test, we shipped the game, and then crash. That, unfortunately, my friends, is how emotions are designed. They're designed to pick us up, and just like a gear in a wheel in a wheelhouse, it's designed to come back down, bring you back down emotionally. So you do what? Well, you go out and you seek to satisfy new needs. That's just the way emotions work. But we're game designers in this room, and I bet you we can do something with that. Let's do happiness problem 3 and we'll get started. So the third happiness problem is that the part of the brain that is, that's responsible for thinking and cognition, the making those decisions that make us happy or sad, is different than the system that's responsible for the feeling, for what I feel good or bad about. And very unfortunately for us mammals is that these two systems are not on speaking terms. So you can't just tell your limbic system, hey, let's feel good about the fact that we just aced this run, this sprint. Let's just feel great that, I just did a super fast workout. You can't tell your limbic system that, not with words, because the limbic system is the earlier. It's your lizard brain, it's your early brain. Cortex is more your mammalian brain, your outer brain. So they're not on speaking terms. Bad luck for us, huh? Well, because we're all game designers, we have this opportunity. If we understand these 3 things, a little bit of inspiration from the 4 keys, we can actually create, my guess is that we can actually create a game to game our brain. And this is the crazy idea, is that we can get ourselves, design games, design a way of living, where we get, in a sense, a daily dose of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. Those will be the most complicated words, and they're the only 4 I'm going to introduce for the rest of the talk, so don't go running for the exits. It's not going to get too neuroscience-y on you. We can, but not today. And what we're going to do is we're going to create games, talk about creating games that target these happiness boosters. Build new pathways. Can we create games that build new pathways for ourselves and for our players? Can we cajole the pituitary to release oxytocin? Can we create reward loops that increase dopamine? Can we calm the amygdala? Again with oxytocin. Can we stimulate the hippocampus, to release more or to be more receptive to serotonin? Can we actually make the hippocampus grow, which will elevate our mood, as we'll talk about in a minute? So can we do that? And I think we can. Because what we can do is if we simplify our concept of games, creating a game towards our dream, and then we simplify the science, and connect those 2 together, we can actually create some really cool games for ourselves and for our players. So these, if we can create these games to create these daily dose of these emotions. Now all of these neurochemicals feel good in the body. They all feel good. So that's great. And so if you can imagine feeling good in several ways during the course of the day, then that's going to be an amazing opportunity. And if you can build those then into habits, you can literally change the emotion profile of your day, change the emotion profile of your life. Connect that then with pursuing a dream, pursuing something that's important to you, something that you're blocked against, you're feeling negative emotions for, then wow, we could really unlock human potential through play, which is what my company Zeo Design's all about. We're unlocking human potential. So this is an untested guide, but here, let's go in. And how many people have seen the 4 keys before or heard me talk on the 4 keys before? All right, just a couple. All right, so I recommend you check it out on our website. There's some more videos up on YouTube on the 4 keys to fun. Really high level, is that there are 4 types of ways games engage and create different emotional states. So we measured emotional states on people's faces while they played their favorite games, everything from Bejeweled to Call of Duty, from Tetris to Halo, and then mapped those favorite moments by emotion, did a cluster analysis of them, and then backed those into mechanics, so types of choices they were playing. Whether they were being creative, whether they were going after a goal, whether they were talking with their friends, whether they're trying to one-up their friends, whether they were collecting. All of these mechanics created different emotional states. And it turned out that best-selling games, whether it was in the core space or casual space, now remember we've done a lot of work in casual, is that they tended to have at least 3 of the 4. And the one that they may not do so well in would be usually people fun. But nowadays, everything is doing people fun because everyone is really into the social mechanics. There's actually more emotion in people fun than in the other three combined, if you can imagine that. So we get hard fun from challenge, goals, and obstacles and strategy. We get easy fun from novelty, exploration, creativity, and role play. People fun from the friendship, the cooperation, competition, the communication that happens between people. And then we get serious fun. We get meaning. Players play games to change themselves and change their world. So this serious fun gets into that real world change part. If you can offer these in your games, whether you're gaming your life or creating games for your players, the games are more sticky. You increase retention, monetization, all those good things. So let's dive in. We're going to connect the 4 keys to some fun neurochemicals. The first one, many people in this room have heard of. How many people have heard dopamine? Okay, awesome, right? How many people have tried in your games like a reward system, and then maybe that reward system after time isn't working as well as it did when you first launched? Anybody in that boat? Anybody? Yes, all right. The rest of you are probably not telling the truth or didn't understand the question. But yeah, what happens with dopamine is actually a response. It's involved in the reward system. But what's interesting about dopamine is that 2 things. The first is that it's the emotion that you feel, it's released before you achieve the goal. A lot of people assume it's it's the yes, I did it emotion, the Fiero emotion, the neurochemical. No, not at all. Dopamine focuses attention and effort to achieve a goal. So it's what you see before you climb that hill or as you're climbing that hill. And then the second thing about dopamine is that it's also about novelty. You have to have something new about that experience to, again, help focus emotions and drive you through. So in terms of climbing that hill, I'd like to tell a quick story. In that, I like to run. And there's this great hill out in the East Bay on West Ridge Trail. It's about 800 feet high, 800,000 feet rise in a mile. And I wanted to run that puppy. I really wanted to do that. I wanted to be able to take that without stopping. And so what I did is, like I said, I decided to make it a game, that hill a game. And so I decided, all right, I'm going to run until I stop. I'm going to note where that trail marker is that I stopped. And then next time I come, tomorrow, I'm just going to run 100 yards, just 100 yards more. That was my deal. That was my game. So I did. I stopped. I noted, and then I ran, walk. Came back the next day, and I saw my marker, and I said, okay, 100 yards more. And I made that 100 yards more, stopped, run, walk. Day 3, I just blew past both markers and, quit quite a ways further. And then I stopped. Day 4 and day 5, I was running the whole hill. Now, you can't condition the body to run, a mile with that kind of a grade in a couple of days. And I realized that really it wasn't the conditioning that was making me stop for breath. It was my fear of the hill itself. And so I also realized is that if you can take those long-term goals, like the one that's sitting in front of you on your dream cards, and break that into small, achievable steps, give yourself the opportunity to celebrate those tiny advances towards that goal, you can, make it move forward. So you're using dopamine, in a sense. Dopamine is released again to focus you. And you're going to, to get that goal. If the goal is hard and challenging, it will help you. It basically, the role it plays in the body is it gives you the resources, it marshals resources to help you achieve a goal. So in our game, for us, we want to train daily celebrations. A very simple game to play for dopamine is simply just at the end of the day, hey, this is what I did. So maybe it was something absolutely spectacular off the charts, or maybe it was just, hey, these are the little things that I did today. But I'm in the habit now every day of coming home and, like that hill, saying, okay, I'm going to note, I'm not going to berate myself that I didn't take the whole hill, but I'm going to compliment myself and assure myself that I made that one little step forward. So with dopamine, I'd like you just to take a pen and draw a line. So dopamine will come out of the mechanics you want to use out of hard fun and out of serious fun. So just draw 2 lines there. And if you'll find more ways to create dopamine and Fiero in those two types of fun. And you can go on our website if you want more details. But again, this fun habit, if you can create this into a habit, it will create good feelings for you over time. And in your personal life, you can amplify the rewards just by, bringing these small celebrations, going forward. So on the back of your card, I'd like you to write step 1 of your dream. And this would be one small goal you can do in 20 minutes. Like, what could you do just in a really quick to get forward towards that particular thing? Now, if you want to compete for this chocolate bar, you can tweet your dream using the hashtags up here. But it's not that hard, just to take a small step. So that's dopamine. Now we're going to go on to the 3 more, which I think are really, really cool. They're all cool, but I love the next one particularly. Everybody stand up. We're going to try a small experiment. Real quick. Okay? All right, ready? All right, go. Free hugs. Everybody find a partner and give them a hug. Oh, look at this. Give him a pat on the back. There we go. That's right. Give him a high five. Give him a hug. Give him a hug. Back rub. All right. Okay. All right. How did that feel? Sorry. How did that feel? This is not the same room you guys all walked into, is it? Yeah? Do you feel a little different? Well, the thing to blame, the neurotransmitter to blame for this is oxytocin. So that it feels good. Dopamine feels good. Oxytocin feels good too. Dopamine helps you focus on a goal. Oxytocin is about trust, bonding, belonging, and touch, hugging, a warm cup of coffee or tea in your hand, washing the dishes even, having lunch with a friend, food in front of a friendly face. All of these create oxytocin. And the idea is that we're social animals, and that if we are part of a tribe, our needs will be met. So it feels good. If we are out on our own and alone, we may encounter hunger. We may encounter being cold. We may get hurt and die. But if we're part of a community, like we all created here for a brief moment, we feel good. It amplifies. It reduces fear, so it's going to calm the amygdala, and it's going to amplify those that are in our same group, and it's going to also amplify those that are out. So we laugh. Laughter is a great way to produce endorphins and stuff like that. But basically, we laugh and we associate with people. We can also, if you get a spike in oxytocin in the middle of an argument or in laughing at some other group, you will actually experience more of a distancing. So oxytocin isn't just the cuddle hormone. It actually is social bonding, so it goes both ways. It'll get you closer. It can also push you apart. But hug, sing, dance together, all of these create this sense of connection, which I really love. So on your cards, if you want to draw from oxytocin, you want to go to people fun to look for more of those. So hugging, dancing are all great. There are more in the 4 keys for competition and cooperation. Lots of ways to create oxytocin that way.
And so I think you just remember the time with
Wait, let me
and it's usually.
Yeah. So then this is a player, Candy Crush player, who talks about seeing the map in the morning when he gets up on his way to work. And what does it feel like to reconnect using Candy Crush?
And so I think you just remember the time with and it's usually a good memory. People forget the bad memories so quickly. So it's usually a happy, pleasant memory that, from an old friend that it might last 5 seconds or 5 minutes, but if it's something like on the way to work, if I'm doing it in the morning and I see that right away, it changes my outlook for the day, because I'll have that good memory to start my day. And so that changes my whole broad outlook on the way I interact with people and treat people as I go.
So what he did is that he actually opens up Candy Crush while he's walking to work, goes to the map, and look at all of the people all of my friends on Facebook that are also playing. And so he uses it to connect with those familiar faces, to actually consciously bring up these happy memories. So then he starts his day that way. So he's using oxytocin, a few more things as well. So that's an interesting way in which we could actually create games. That's a personal game for his life, but you could also create games in a casual game that create that rhythm and that connection with other people. I like this next app just because it's so obvious and raw example of how to create oxytocin. This is Couple. And thumb kissing. How many people know what a thumb kiss is? Okay. Great. Well, with thumb kissing, what you do is you bring out the app, and I place my thumb on the screen, and then my partner would place his thumb on the screen as well, and then we would chase each other. And when our thumb prints overlap, the phone vibrates, and there's a little, and then it flashes. Very simple game, very what? That's not really even a game, right? But it feels good. It feels like, hey, we're apart, and I'm thinking of you, I miss you, hey, let's kiss. Oh yeah, right. Okay, you want to play this one? No? What do you want to say, Steve? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I still have my time. I said I still have until 1 o'clock, right? So write a friend's name on the back. Connect, trust, and reciprocate. So thinking about your dream. Something that you can write down something that you can count on for a friendly hug, smile, or text. Something that you can fit on the back. The next one that we'll do the last two really quickly here. Social dominance and mood is regulated by something called serotonin, where we get recognition, express pride, and reciprocate between people. And essentially, this is serotonin is taken up by the hippocampus, and essentially, when you get respect by people you admire, your serotonin goes up. And if you can express pride and get a reciprocate, then you actually will feel better. It feels good. It feels good to do. You're climbing your social hierarchy. You're going up in the rank, and basically, because we're social animals, it means that I can access food better. I have more of a secure access to food. So that's why that feels good. Some examples of how to do that for serotonin will be in people fun and serious fun. An simple example would be the like on Facebook, being able to give a thumbs up or not. And then, but more importantly, would be to think about other things that you can do. In Tinder, there's this recognition game. Again, this is a very simple sort of game, but I like this person, I don't like this person. So I'm raising the serotonin of the people I like, and I'm dropping the serotonin of the people I don't like. So this is affecting, the serotonin levels, just to give you a real raw example. So thinking about your own dream, how do you share accomplishments? And how do you get those respect from those you admire? So you might create, for example, a mutual admiration society. You might blog or tweet or Facebook post to do that. As well. It's helpful if they are, but it's important that they are above you so that you respect them in some way. So the last thing I want to talk about is about endorphin. So this is the fourth one, so we're kind of going into our bonus round here. And this is endorphin masks pain. So the ability is probably why I run. Endorphin feels great. Serotonin, I should have mentioned on the previous slide, is that serotonin affects the hippocampus. The hippocampus also does regulate mood. So it's one of the really great ways to elevate your mood overall. Endorphins are great because it will mask any negative emotions. So it's got sort of a masking effect. It's euphoria from exertion. So if you laugh, cry, or exercise, all of those are going to raise your endorphin levels. And the hard fun and serious fun would be endorphins, where endorphins go. And so you can think about maybe how you might be able to, as part of your dream-making machine here, create experiences that create endorphin to help you advance. One last final hack here for mind hacking is that if you look at that dream or that experience in any way that helps others or changes the world, that's going to position your body and your mind in a sense to amplify any of that emotion that you feel. Because hey, I felt good that I just did the AIDS walk, and then I feel even better because it was for a cause I care about. So likes on goals mean more. So that's it. These are games to create your daily dose to make us happier, where you create goals to reward with dopamine, you connect with oxytocin, getting respect from those you admire with serotonin, and create euphoria from exertion. So thank you very much.